Hey everybody!
Hello! Hello!
Well, we got a great group here together today. This is part of our Platinum Inner Circle group, which are all real estate gurus here to learn how to grow their business of teaching. They're all gurus, they all teach, they all do seminars and the like. On my far right is Jay Connor.
Hello!
In the middle is Jim Zaspel.
Aloha.
The bald guy here is Lance Edwards. This is Brian and Lynette Wolf.
The Wolf couple.
That is Cameron Gaskell.
Hello.
And together we are here to literally, as a team, learn how to grow each prospective business. So I thought I'd get them all together and we do the Ask Ron together. And I'll let them answer, but disclosure, there are probably going to be some different opinions in the room.
No!
No, really?
If there are, I'll settle it because my answer is the only one that matters.
Surprise, surprise.
Okay,
Lynette here is going to read the questions.
our first question is from Jean, Orlando, Florida.
Hey, Gene!
Ron, would you be willing to assist me in funding some of my bargain deals, especially the pretty houses? Here is one that I'm working on getting.
I don't want to hear the rest. Gene, pretty houses don't need funding. If you're asking me that question, you don't understand the pretty house business, and you probably should spend a little time getting trained first, because we don't use our money on pretty houses. People either give them to us, we take over the debt, or we buy them with owner financing, with little or nothing down, or we lease option them, none of which takes money. If it does, a very small amount of money. So the word pretty houses and funding don't go together.
That's right.
Funding only applies to when you're paying all cash for houses. And of course, if you're asking me, will I put up the money for that? The answer is no. However, this guy on my right is an expert on raising private money, and that's how we fund all cash deals. His
Right.
name is Jay Connor. So get into our system, which I can tell you're not very deep into right now, and learn the ropes, and you'll figure out quickly you don't need money to buy real estate. In fact, if you need your money to buy real estate, most people wouldn't be in it.
That's right.
That's true.
Zero money down, none of your own credit. We love pretty house deals.
All right, so your issue is training, not raising money.
When you do need pretty house money, it's really a short-term money usually, and you get that back from your lease purchase
Maybe a little
buyer.
for a down payment.
From
your buyer.
Usually
Maybe
not.
a
Yeah,
All right,
thousand.
to cover that
let's move
instantly.
on to the next question.
Question number 2 from Bruce. He's from Illinois. I live in Illinois where the state motto seems to be charge everybody in as much taxes and fees as you can get away with. State fees for an LLC are $500 per LLC, okay? It would cost less to have multiple single LLC purchases.
Okay, stop. First of all, that's not the Illinois rule, that's the United States of America rule. Suck as much money out of the citizens as possible, and the more of it you disguise, the better, so they don't feel like they're getting their taxes raised. But you don't need multiple LLCs. You're going to need probably more than one, but a series LLC is not going to help you much. I only use one LLC to keep my keepers in, another LLC to operate the entities in. So I make the operate, you only need a couple a year. So if it costs you $500 per LLC times 2 a year, it's a small cost of doing business, actually. And there are some states with a lot higher annual fee than that, just so you'll know.
All right, the next question. Ashley, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. I have a house, 4-bedroom, 5-bath, 3,600 square feet. The important numbers, Ron. The mortgage is $325, PITI $2,100. The seller will sell for $465. It's worth about $465. He wants all of his equity now.
Then why are we discussing this? All sellers want all of their equity now. They all want full price and all cash, but those are not the ones we're going to deal with. Again, get into our training. Let us show you how to pre-screen that kind of a seller out, because that is an absolute pure time waster. There's nothing you can do with most of the people who have a house for sale. We're only working with a few that come through and say they would consider terms. So this is a pre-screening question, and frankly, we shouldn't even be dealing with it if you understand that seller's gone as fast as they come in the loop.
I think somebody taught us this thing about low-hanging fruit.
Low hanging.
Yeah, low hanging fruit, that's
Well,
a good point.
Okay, first you gotta get them on the tree, and this one ain't even on the tree.
It's not even on the tree. Next question is from Alex, Houston, Texas. Ron, a lot of the online FSBO listings are above MLS comps and even above Zestimate. How far above the market do you consider it to be unreasonable to even inquire with them?
Well, first of all, my opinion, most people grossly destroy the real ARV because of their inability to go find real comps. For example, a Zestimate on Zillow is worthless, and anybody using the Zestimate on Zillow to determine the market value doesn't really understand what Zestimate means. Basically what it means is an average. And how do you get to average? You take the highs and you take the lows, which destroys your real comps, because with the lows in there, it's going to always be lower than my market value.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a good website, realestateabc.com. realestateabc.com. I'd use that for my comps. I certainly would ignore Zestimate. And when you go on that site, you just plug in the address and here's the comps all right there for you. I'm only interested in the top two. The rest of them I totally ignore. The top two highest comps on the page that are similar in square footage are the real comps, not as estimate. Even when I'm given comps on another site, I just pull up Real Estate ABC and quickly determine the value of the property. And by the way, you better be thinking about this, because most people who are not making offers on, especially on cash deals, are probably using a bogus ARV, thus are not making offers because they think the house is worth less than it really is. I find the opposite to be true, frankly. If you go take the trouble to get to the real ARV, it actually puts you in a good position because you know what the real market value is. And I tell you, if you are taking the market value from a site that's got all the junk sales on it and the distress sales, you're going to get a false ARV, therefore a false offer, and you'll never get anything accepted. Anybody else got a comment on that? Cameron here deals in buying properties cash and rehab them. In fact, they all do, actually, to some degree. And I think you find the same issues with your students, do you not?
I would never use Zillow to
Speak
come
up.
up with the ARB.
Talk louder.
I would never use Zillow to come up with the ARB.
No. All right.
I will tell you that we live in the age of Zillow, folks, and your sellers and buyers, if they are involved in real estate, will be aware of the Zestimate. And
Yes, let
you
them
have-
use this estimate.
Yes, and the key
Yes.
here is, many times, because as Ron said, this is an average of all sales in the area, that will come in lower, and they're basing it on that, they'll be underestimating the true value of that
Yeah,
property.
yeah.
In addition, we're gonna mark it up about 5% because we're offering terms.
Yeah.
So we get another little bit of margin there. We're pretty aggressive. We'll buy houses that we must pay the market rate because that's what they owe on the
With
mortgage.
terms.
Yes,
terms.
with terms. And we have a pretty good market, marking it up a little bit. If you can build a $15,000 or $20,000 profit into a deal, remember, your lease purchase buyer is unlikely to pay you off that first year, and your revenue will just accrue over time.
Let's go back to the question. The real question was, should she pay more than what she thinks the ARV is? And my answer was, I think your ARV is bogus. If you find out your ARV is not bogus, I'm okay with paying a little bit more, but the truth is, if they're crazy and they're whacked out and they're trying to get way more than the market value of the property, I'm just not gonna deal with them. It's that simple. But first, let's verify what the real ARV is. It
And
could
Ron-
be the seller's actually done more homework than you have.
That's true. Ron, I did want to say one quick point. The Dream system has the awesome ARB built right into it.
Yeah.
The comps,
are right
the comps are built into the Dream system.
That's part of your 297 and above Gold Club system now. All right, let's get on to the next one.
Okay, the next question, what should I offer? This is from Rachel in Illinois. It's a free and clear house, asking $439. The house is worth $513.
Wow.
And the rents are about $2,400 a month, property taxes $9,800 a year, insurance is $1,000.
Okay, what's the PITI?
So PITI, Brian, let's see, 2,400. Oh, well, it's free and clear.
1,100 a month.
Just the same, okay.
Owner agrees to do owner financing.
And does it show a monthly payment?
Well, the house is free and clear, but the monthly rent is $2,400.
All right. Anyway, regardless of all of those numbers, what should I offer is the wrong question. Okay? You shouldn't be making the offer. The seller should be making an offer to you. And if you follow the scripts, like I train you to do, in fact, probably should get into my training, and then listen, and then follow the scripts, your questions would be, what's the least you could accept, what's the least you could take per month, and may I assume you'll sell with nothing down? And when you get through with those questions, the seller will have made you an offer. And then you can decide whether you want to pass or play or try to change the offer. So that's the answer to that question, irrelevant for all of those numbers.
But if there is a spread between the mortgage and their asking price, you don't want to
Yeah.
pay that spread.
Well,
So,
in this case, we already got a boatload of equity in it. So I'm not even gonna worry too much about getting the price down, but I wanna know if I can get in with little or no money down,
Right.
and if I can get a good spread monthly. That's all I care about here. We get the answers to those, and we get out to the house. And of course, if the seller says, yeah, I consider owner financing with half down, then we're not going to the house. So you follow my script, you'll get those answers. It's really that simple. All right, what's the next?
The next question, Rachel from Chicago, Illinois. I have a condo asking $238. The mortgage balance is $231. PITI $1,600. It rents for $2,100 a month. And so, open to owner financing.
Okay.
How would you do this deal?
I'd ask them if they'd sell for what they owe, wouldn't you?
Yep.
If they'd sell for what
Absolutely.
they owe, it's easy.
And that is the question on
Yeah.
subject to deals.
And you also
Yeah.
want to ask if they have any condo fees or HOA fees on
That's
top
true.
of the PITI, because that could eat up the whole $500 of cash flow.
Oh,
Right there.
you know what?
Well,
On the
not
very
with that-
bottom, I'm sorry, it does say $785 a month on HOA.
Ooh.
So now we're on
Oh.
Negative cash
No,
flow,
we're
that's
not.
worth 300.
No, we're not, because we can pass that on to the tenant buyer.
Right.
But that is hefty.
That's
That is
high.
very, very
That's
hefty.
in Chicago,
So,
Illinois.
well, they
Chicago.
are high there, yeah. Taxes are there too. So I'll tell you what I'd probably do is put that one under contract and put a buyer in it before I closed on it. That's because that might have a big effect. Also want to ask them on a condo and make sure that you have the right to put a tenant in it. A lot of them do not. Okay,
Next question.
we got a small apartment question for Lance here, because he's getting lonely sitting
let's-
here.
Okay,
This is a small apartment king here.
okay, Rachel has another one from Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah,
Offering price, they want 300,000, the mortgage is 56,000, PITI is 2950, but the rents are only 2250, so negative cash flow. He's willing to do owner financing.
well, again, I'd put it under contract and find the buyer who's willing to pay the $2,900 a month and get what I can out of them, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. We get in pretty house business, a lot of times, we get paid by raising the price, and our compensation is that increase in price, and we get that in cash as a down payment. And it's easy to do when you're selling on terms. So I would not let that payment scare me off, but it would keep me from closing on it and paying closing costs.
And then Rachel asked, where do I find the CMA competitive market?
I already
Yeah,
told
we
you
did
that. RealestateABC.com.
And
your
Or dreams.
system.
in Dream
And
System.
Dream, yeah.
So Lance, how do I get a good deal on small apartments?
Did you figure this out
In
today?
20 seconds or less.
I don't see that
Okay, this is our last question. Sorry, Lance. Okay, it's from Tomlin, Miami, Florida. I have a willing seller and a willing buyer. Here's all the facts. Okay,
In short form.
short form.
Tom, a question is a sentence. Page.
The seller owes 120. The mortgage PITI is 847. Seller will take 149, but insists on he needs that 120 paid off so that he can get a new house. Okay, his next house. And the tenant can put 40,000 down, but has credit issues.
You want to answer that?
Yep. Oh, go ahead. Me?
You want to answer?
Yes. Okay, so basically, this one here, what we would do is we would go ahead and buy the house for what he owes. Seller owes 120.
Yeah, he already said he wants 149.
Okay, well then he's gonna have,
The issue on this one is he wants this 120,000 paid off.
Correct.
And that's a legitimate objection. folks.
Yes.
If he needs to qualify for another mortgage.
Yes.
And this will prevent him due to debt ratio issues.
No, not really, because you can buy it with owner financing,
yeah,
and then the lender will probably give him credit for the income to wash out the debt.
So do
But you
the-
cannot make that promise.
you wrap
And you should
it.
find a mortgage person in your area who's a portfolio lender and can be more flexible on qualifying
Yeah.
people, because they'll give them 75% just
That they
off
can
a
call.
lease agreement.
But the truth is
Yeah.
this, either you're gonna have to convince him that you can buy it with owner financing, and that will help solve his issue, or you're gonna convince him to go, well, refinancing is not gonna help him, but you cannot pay off his debt for him. You cannot do that, and if in fact that is what he insists on, you're gonna have to move on. It's that simple. You cannot force that issue, because the fact that somebody's got $40,000 down might be an influencing issue if you're willing to maybe share half of it with him and give him $20,000 down, then, you know, he might get off with this, I want the debt paid off thing.
Yeah, cause he's got that buyer lined up with 40,000 non-refundable
But
deposit.
debt's not getting paid off no matter what you do. Now, I guess another alternative though is if this buyer's putting the 40 grand down, I assume they won't qualify for a loan, because if they would,
Yeah,
problem solved. You can go and just get them qualified for a loan and cash out. So I wanna check that first.
yeah, they have a bankruptcy, but he,
Yeah, but how old is that bankruptcy? The FHA will finance them with if they're out of bankruptcy, 6 months now.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
so want to check, you need to check with a lender and find out.
The best thing in this deal is the buyer and that $40,000. I'd be looking for another property
Yeah.
or many more properties.
That's
Good
40,000, 40 grand in the wrong bank account.
I'll,
There needs to be a transfer here someplace real soon.
I'll tell you, that's exactly what we would run with this A-plus buyer, and we would advertise on Craigslist as if we're that buyer, and we would look specifically for what they're looking for, so that we can go out and buy that home if it's not already in our inventory.
All right, is that all of them today?
Yeah, that was it.
All right,
All
well, Lance, thank you for your participation
Glad to be of help.
Good job,
in this conversation. And thank all of you, and go out and get some deals, guys. We'll see you next week.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye-bye.